One of Jesus' 7 I am statements is the statement, I am the light of the world. He's talking about shining light into the dark places of the world, especially our souls. We cannot walk in darkness if we have the light within us to guide us. And I think back to Genesis 1 verse 3, where God is creating the world, and the first thing he does is create light. In John 8:12, we are called to righteousness and to shine Christ's light into the world. Isaiah 42:6 says, I am the Lord, I have called you in righteousness. I will take you by the hand, I will give you as a covenant for the people, a light for the nations, to open eyes that are blind, to bring out prisoners from the dungeons, and from the prison those who sit in darkness. And then we look in Ephesians 5:6-17, and it says, don't be deceived by empty words. Walk as children of the light. Learn what pleases God. Expose the fruitlessness of darkness. Wake up and let Christ shine on you. Be careful how you walk. Don't be foolish. Understand the will of God. In Paul's day, false Christians who believed you could live in sin with no consequences, no true Christian can ever be lost, but he will prove the reality of his faith by an obedient life. There will also be those who profess salvation without ever really possessing it. Paul is not saying that we were in darkness, but that we were darkness. Light is necessary to produce fruit. We have to walk as children of the light to bear the fruit of the light. To be children of the light, we can't hide from God. And I think about Genesis 3, where Adam and Eve chose to do exactly what God said not to do. And so they decided to hide in their sin. They created clothing for themselves out of fig leaves. And I cannot imagine a more miserable outfit to wear than one made of fig leaves. Fig leaves are fuzzy on both sides, and they have a milky sap that comes out when the leaf is punctured or broken in any way, and that would have stuck to their skin, and it just would have been miserable. Fruit of the light is found in all that is good and right and true. By discerning what is pleasing to the Lord enables us to walk worthy of the Lord. Exposing the fruit of darkness, we can see sin and as a breach of God's holy law. And if we share in the sins of others, we also share in their plagues. Light produces fruit because it reveals truth. It exposes what is wrong and exposes the true character. Philippians 4:8-9 is a verse we like to lean on quite a bit, to think about things that are true, honorable, pure, lovely, commendable, excellent, worthy of praise. And we're told to practice these things because then the peace of God will come to us. We're called to obedience. These virtues are representative rather than exhaustive. Thinking is not the means to the end, but the preparation for action. And things that are honorable are things that are worthy of respect. Whether men praise you for your actions is immaterial because God will honor your actions. Our focus should be on our relationship with God as the priority over everything else. The more we love God, the better we are able to discern His voice, His will, and to love God is to know Him, and knowing Him makes His voice easier to hear over the cacophony of the rest of the world. Isaiah 26:3-4. Those verses hold a special place in my heart. In 2003, I went to a conference on deepening your prayer life, and the conference leader said that if you don't have a consistent habitual prayer life with God, that when the things come, to turn your life upside down, you have no refuge. And then a month later, after that conference, I had a regular checkup at the doctor and mentioned that I was suffering indigestion quite a bit. And she thought, well, maybe you've got gallstones. I was the right demographic for them, and so let's see if that's what the deal is. So I go in for the ultrasound, and they check my spleen, and they check my stomach, and then they get to my liver, and a look of concern comes over the technician's face, and he goes and he grabs a white-coated doctor who looks at it, and the same look of concern is covering his face. And then they said, you've got a mass on your liver. Well, there was a week between hearing those words and going for the biopsy that was going to give me the answers. One night I woke up and I was unable to fall back to sleep. And I just lay there staring at the ceiling, and I kept hearing these words over and over and over, whispering through my mind, I will keep you in perfect peace. I will keep you in perfect peace, until I fell back to sleep. And then in the morning I got up and I said, that kind of sounds like it might be scripture. I need to look it up and see. So I got out my Strong's Exhaustive Concordance, and if you've ever carried one around for any length of time, you understand why I sometimes call it the exhausting concordance. They're big and heavy. And anyway, Isaiah 26:3. Isaiah is talking to the Lord, and he's saying, you will keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is steadfast on you, because he trusts you. And then Isaiah speaks to the people, trust in the Lord forever, for he is your everlasting rock. One of the ways that we are able to bear the fruit of the light is through discernment, or seeing through God's eyes, examining ourselves, knowing whether we are growing closer or farther away from God, finding joy and peace from being close to God, taking action after weighing the consequences. And godly discernment brings freedom and allows us to embrace God's desires for us, peace that lets us sense calm when we trust God in the middle of our turmoil, joy in knowing we are living in alignment with God's desires for our lives, authenticity for us to live consistently with our values and beliefs, and gratitude in the awareness of God's love and generosity. Matthew 5:14 and 16, Jesus talks about being the light of the world, and he says, light can't be hidden. And when you light a lamp to light up your house, you don't hide it so that the light can't shine into the corners. You leave it out in the open, and then others can see the light that is within us. When I was growing up, there was an organization at church called Girls Auxiliary, and we would learn scriptures, verses, and we would learn hymns, and we would learn various things and talk about missionaries and what missionaries did. And the watchword for our group was Isaiah 60 verse 1. Arise, shine, for your light has come. The glory of the Lord has risen upon you. Darkness may cover the earth, and thick darkness the people, but the Lord will rise upon you, and his glory will be seen on you. And nations will come to your light, and kings to the brightness of your rising. Our walk in the light makes us attractive to those who are seeking. Our walk in the light glorifies God through those who see our light. I think about when Jesus is being taken by Mary and Joseph to the temple to be dedicated on the 8th day, and the prophet Simeon is there, and he says, I have seen the light of your salvation. So imagine with me being grafted into a vine that shines into the remotest and darkest areas of our lives. We start to shine with the love of Christ that is growing the fruit that we bear.